The law number 2 of power emphasizes on never put too much trust in friends. Instead, learn how to use enemies' judgment. It warns against placing excessive trust in friends, as they are prone to envy, become spoiled, and may betray you. Instead, hiring a former enemy can result in greater loyalty, as they have more to prove. Friends can be more dangerous than enemies, and if one has no enemies, they should find a way to make them. The story recounts the downfall of Emperor Michael III of the Byzantine Empire. In need of a trustworthy counselor, he appointed his best friend, Basilius, despite his lack of experience in governance. Basilius had saved Michael's life previously from a loosed wild horse and was showered with gifts and favors. However, as Basilius gained power and influence, he became greedy and manipulated Michael to eliminate his ambitious uncle, Bardas. Basilius continued to accumulate wealth and allies, eventually surpassing the emperor in power. When Michael asked Basilius to repay borrowed money, he was met with refusal and a display of arrogance. In the end, Basilius orchestrated Michael's murder and proclaimed himself emperor. The interpretation of the story highlights Michael's fatal mistake of relying on Basilius's gratitude and creating a monster. Michael believed that Basilius owed him for his wealth and education, but he failed to recognize Basilius's growing ambition and disregard for their friendship. Michael's realization came too late, and he paid with his life, deceived by the trust he placed in his friend. This story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of trusting friends blindly and underestimating the potential betrayal they may commit. Now, let's look at a story that is successful in using this very law. Imagine a time in ancient China when emperors lived in constant fear of betrayal and assassination. One man, General Qiao Kuan-yin, dared to challenge this dangerous game and become Emperor Sung. But how did he survive in a world filled with treacherous friends and power-hungry enemies? Emperor Sung was a master of strategy. Instead of relying on his generals, who would likely turn against him, he invited them to a lavish banquet. As they drank and feasted, the tension in the air was palpable. What would he do? Kill them all? But Emperor Sung had a different plan in mind. With a sly smile, he spoke to his generals about the constant fear and unhappiness he felt as emperor. He knew they dreamed of sitting on the dragon throne themselves. In their drunken state, they denied any such intentions, desperate to prove their loyalty. But Emperor Sung was too clever to fall for their words. Instead of eliminating them, he offered them a life of luxury and pleasure, far away from the throne. He promised them beautiful estates, riches beyond their wildest dreams, and the company of singers and servants. And just like that, the generals who would have been his enemies became his loyal subjects, willingly resigning their commands. Emperor Sung didn't stop there. When rebels surrendered to him, instead of imprisoning or punishing them, he surprised them with kindness. He turned his enemies into friends by offering forgiveness and trust. The rebels, touched by his mercy, became fiercely devoted to his cause. Through his cunning and compassion, Emperor Sung broke the cycle of violence and secured his rule. He knew that true strength lies not in eliminating threats, but in transforming them into allies. And so, the Sung dynasty flourished for over 300 years, ruling China with wisdom and benevolence. In the quest for power, it's natural to turn to friends for assistance during times of need. After all, they provide comfort in a harsh world, and you already have a connection with them. However, relying on friends can be problematic because you often don't know them as well as you think. Friends tend to avoid conflict and hide their true feelings to maintain harmony. They may shower you with praise and admiration, but it's not always genuine. When you hire a friend, you might discover hidden qualities that were kept concealed. Surprisingly, it's your act of kindness that disrupts the balance. People want to feel deserving of their good fortune, and receiving favors from a friend can be burdensome. It implies that they were chosen based on friendship rather than merit, leading to a subtle condescension that affects the relationship. Over time, honesty diminishes, and resentment and envy creep in, causing the friendship to fade. The more favors you provide to revive the friendship, the less gratitude you receive. Ingratitude has proven its power throughout history, yet people often underestimate it. Therefore, it's wise to be cautious. If you don't expect gratitude from a friend, you'll be pleasantly surprised when they do show appreciation. Using or hiring friends ultimately limits your power because they may not be the most capable individuals to assist you. In the end, skill and competence are far more important than friendly sentiments. Sometimes, it's necessary to maintain a certain distance in work situations. Your goal is to achieve success, not necessarily make friends. Friendliness, whether genuine or false, can obscure this fact. The key to power lies in identifying those who can best further your interests in any given situation. Maintain friendships for companionship, but collaborate with skilled and competent individuals. On the other hand, your enemies can be a valuable resource that you must learn to exploit. Consider Talleyrand, Napoleon's foreign minister, who conspired against his own boss. Talleyrand chose Joseph Fouché, his most hated enemy and head of the secret police, as his confederate. By leveraging their previous animosity, Talleyrand created an opportunity for an emotional reconciliation. Fouché, having nothing to expect from Talleyrand, worked hard to prove his worth. Their relationship was based on mutual self-interest rather than personal feelings. This unlikely partnership generated interest in their cause and slowly eroded support for Napoleon. Talleyrand and Fouché established a fruitful working relationship. Therefore, it's beneficial to reconcile with enemies and utilize them to your advantage. As Abraham Lincoln said, you destroy an enemy when you make a friend of them. Key takeaways: having enemies keeps us sharp and focused, sharpening our wits. It can be more advantageous to use enemies as enemies rather than trying to turn them into friends or allies. Don't let the presence of enemies distress you. It's better to have declared opponents than to be unsure of your true adversaries. Embrace conflict and use enemies to enhance your reputation as a skilled and reliable fighter, especially during uncertain times. Working with friends can blur the necessary boundaries and distances required in the realm of power. However, if both parties understand the risks involved, friends can be effectively employed. Yet, one must remain vigilant for signs of emotional turmoil, such as envy and ingratitude. Nothing remains stable in the pursuit of power, and even the closest friendships can transform into bitter enmity. There are also moments when a friend can be more useful than an enemy. A person of power often has unpleasant tasks that need to be done, but it's better to have others perform them for the sake of appearances. Friends are often willing to take risks because of their affection for you. Additionally, if your plans go awry, you can conveniently use a friend as a scapegoat. Throughout history, kings and sovereigns have employed this strategy, sacrificing their closest courtiers to avoid blame. Yet, by playing this card, you lose your friend forever. It's best to reserve the role of scapegoat for someone close to you, but not too close. Use this strategy at your own risk. How about you, though? Have you ever been betrayed by a friend? Or maybe you have successfully used an enemy to your own benefit. Share your experiences in the comments below so others can learn from you too. Remember to subscribe so you won't miss any of our exciting and useful upcoming content. Catch you in the next video.